On the Dad Ventures podcast, we are all about enabling you to make epic memories with your kids. But between the daily grind and whirlwind of life, having fun, easy, and epic ideas on engaging with your kids isn't always easy. As a dad, balancing the daily grind with fun, memorable moments with your little ones is challenging. That's why I turn to the Dad Ventures deck, a deck of dad cards and kid cards, where every dad card is a surprisingly simple, outrageously fun adventure for you to lead with your kids, and every kid card provides a spontaneous, silly twist to the adventure. Just the other day, I went on a bike ride with my 5-year-old daughter. I took the role of Batman, while she invented a new superhero, Rosie the Unicorn. That little adventure was a blast. You too can have outrageously fun adventures with your kids that lead to unbreakable bonds and epic memories. Right now, Dad Ventures listeners get 10% off their order when they use the code PODCAST at checkout. Go to store.adventures.dad and use the code PODCAST for your discount. Make epic memories with the Dad Ventures deck at store.adventures.dad, promo code PODCAST. Will I ever achieve the things that I want to achieve? That question has been hanging over my head this week. It was asked by my old drama teacher, but he didn't voice it. His newly widowed wife of 56 years asked that question, and that's the question I want to explore with you today. And if you don't know what you want to achieve, then I have 2 techniques to share with you that will help you vision cast for your life. I'm Aaron, a dad of 4, and thank you for joining me on the adventure of a lifetime being a dad. Hit that subscribe or follow button, and if you love the show, I'd be honored if you left a 5-star rating and shared the podcast with a friend. My high school drama teacher recently died. I spent many hours under hot stage lights with needles from half-sewn costumes sticking into my skin, practicing choreography and blocking. These stage productions were some of the most fun and proudest moments of my young life. For me, it was a few years of after-school drama, then moving on to other pursuits. Not so for my drama teacher. For him, it was a lifelong passion for theater and the performing arts. He taught drama at my high school for over 42 years, long enough for his children to grow up and teach drama alongside him. At his funeral, his family and friends had many lovely things to say about him. One of the speakers even did a brief tap dance. 3 comments have been pegged in my brain from this funeral. The first was by his son, now an adult. As a child, his son would often wonder why his dad had so many rehearsals, why he was gone so much. I felt a small pang of guilt knowing that his dad had been my director and that I was at a number of those rehearsals for a few years. He was coaching and mentoring a ragtag group of teenagers who had the audacity to step on the stage. Then the son remarked on the irony that he is now the dad who is always gone at rehearsal. Something in his father's passion had been passed down to him. The second statement was from a friend of my teacher. She was actually the speaker who tap danced. She visited the teacher's son at rehearsal one day, yet she thought she had stepped back in time because the son's mannerisms and directing style were so similar to his father's. The last was from my teacher's wife. They had been married an impressive 56 years. Many of us in the audience were former students, in my case from nearly 20 years ago. The wife said this, quote, "He wasn't always the great director that you know. Often he would ask me, will I ever be able to achieve the things I want to achieve?" This question floored me. Here was an amazing man, someone who could rally a community around a theatrical performance, someone who had taught and mentored countless students on countless talents. Many of those talents I still draw on today. His shows were spectacular, earning rave reviews from audiences, critics, and students. From my limited perspective, my teacher was able to achieve outstanding victories. Perhaps that question has plagued you, or kept you up at night. Perhaps it takes a different form, such as, will I have the career that I want? Will my children still love me when I'm old? Will my friends remember me? Will my wife still care to have me around? If you stress over the answers to these questions, I have 2 techniques to share with you. These techniques fall under the category of vision casting, because if you don't have a vision for what you want to achieve, then how can you take steps today to start to achieve that vision? Technique number 1, the press release. I'm borrowing this technique from the tech world. When a company is attempting to decide what products to build, they will use this technique to envision the future and communicate the idea of the new product. The team will look forward to when the product is released and write down such things as what the product is and what it does and doesn't do, what problems it solves, and what people it is meant to serve. Also, the benefits from using the product and the inspiration behind the product. While the team creates this press release, they don't actually use it as a communication tool to the outside world. It becomes more of a guiding document, something the team can turn back to in order to assess their future ideas or decisions. It also serves as a way for the team to ensure that they are focused externally on the right people who will be using the product. You can use this same technique, but instead of a press release for a new product, you write what you want your life to look like. Here are a few questions to get you started. Think ahead to the future. Who do you hope to have a close relationship with? What memories do you want to have cultivated with your loved ones? What shared experiences do you want to be able to laugh about? What problems do you hope to have solved or causes to have supported? What values do you want to have instilled in your children? What inspires you? Technique number 2, your own funeral. This second technique comes from Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The title of this chapter articulates the idea of everything we've been talking about. Begin with the end in mind. In this chapter, Covey invites you to a funeral, but you suddenly realize that, quote, this is your funeral 3 years from today. He then outlines 4 speakers, 1 family, 1 friend, 1 professional colleague, and the last speaker from your church or community. Then Covey asks you these questions. What would you like each of these speakers to say about you and your life? What kind of a husband or father would you like their words to reflect? What kind of a friend? What character traits would you like them to see in you? What contributions, what achievements would you want them to remember? What difference would you have made in their lives? These questions, when you take them seriously, can lead to some really deep places. Be open and write down a few thoughts that come to your mind. With both of these techniques, the press release and the funeral, take a look at what you wrote down. What small actions can you start taking today that will lead to those results? What behaviors can you start or stop now that will help you achieve the things you want to achieve? Will you ever be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve? I think yes. The power is in you. Go cast a vision and start taking small actions today. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this thought. The journey of being a dad is not just about the day-to-day tasks, but also about envisioning the kind of life you want for yourself and your family. By envisioning your desired future and reflecting on the impact you want to make, you can take small steps today to align your actions with your aspirations. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, keep on being the engaged dad that you are. On the Dad Ventures podcast, we are all about enabling you to make epic memories with your kids. But between the daily grind and whirlwind of life, having fun, easy, and epic ideas on engaging with your kids isn't always easy. As a dad, balancing the daily grind with fun, memorable moments with your little ones is challenging. That's why I turn to the Dad Ventures deck, a deck of dad cards and kid cards, where every dad card is a surprisingly simple, outrageously fun adventure for you to lead with your kids, and every kid card provides a spontaneous, silly twist to the adventure. Just the other day, I went on a bike ride with my 5-year-old daughter. I took the role of Batman while she invented a new superhero, Rosie the Unicorn. That little adventure was a blast. You too can have outrageously fun adventures with your kids that lead to unbreakable bonds and epic memories. Right now, Dad Ventures listeners get 10% off their order when they use the code PODCAST at checkout. Go to store.adventures.dad and use the code PODCAST for your discount. Make epic memories with the Dad Ventures deck at store.adventures.dad, promo code PODCAST.